Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Well, the woke mob has a new target. They need a new target. They have to. They're like a shark. If they stop, they die. They have to devour everything. This one is a popular children's book author, Roald Dahl. A publisher is now hiring sensitivity readers. Sensitivity readers, it's like regime censors, to rewrite parts of his books that might be deemed offensive. You're not going to believe some of their changes uncovered by The Telegraph. For example, the tiny men in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory are now referred to as, quote, little people. And meanwhile, the word fat, it was enormously fat, has been scrubbed from a line in a book. Now it's just enormous. And they were describing a mouse. In James and the Giant Peach, the term cloud men has been changed to cloud people. And in the same book, the word white, not used in reference to people overall, was scrubbed in this line. Because apparently just saying the word white is offensive. Here with reaction, Black Eye for America co-author Dr. Carol Swain and the Bottom Line co-host Sean Duffy. Thank you both for being here. Carol, I'm not surprised. I know you're not. Does this ever end? Does it ever eat itself?
It doesn't end because our colleges and universities are churning out people who are only qualified to be DEI and sensitivity training. And many of these people are intellectual midgets, and they believe that they need to scrub any language that could make someone feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, people don't know this, but Sean, when I see you in the hallway, I'll call you a tiny man who's enormously fat. And that's not true, but I like to toss it out there. What do you think?
Well said. And I got broad shoulders and a thick skin. But you know what, Pete, you're absolutely right. So you look, our libraries in schools are canceling The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Little House on the Prairie is getting canceled.
Yes.
And this goes to what you talk about all the time, right? You have the most fertile minds in America are our children's minds, and the left knows that. The radical Marxists know that. So they've infiltrated schools, which you've talked about a lot, but also those who make TV shows and movies for kids. All these books that have now come out are incredibly woke, but they can change what we're doing right now, Pete, but they can't change a time when men thought freely and brought out concepts and virtuous ideas. And they might say mom and dad, boy and girl, fat and skinny. And so they have to go back and rework the language in those books to make them fit the woke narrative of today. And listen, I don't think this stops, but it goes to your point. Get your kids out of school. Buy the books, the classic books now, so you'll have them in your own library, so you can read them to your kids, and your kids can enjoy them in the way the authors wrote them, not the way the woke has modified them.
Yeah, Carol, what's your advice? How do you navigate this? How do you even know a book has been scrubbed? I mean, for parents out there.
Well, I mean, when they do the revisionist editions of the books, they will be the newer editions, because this is something that just took off maybe in the last 10 years. And so the classic books will always be the classics, and it will actually increase the value of certain publications. And when you wonder about why they would go after Dahl's books, it's because they've reached over 300 million people. And children, it is about indoctrinating them, but also they're trying to hit them from every different angle. So it's not just the classroom and the curriculum. They're trying to make it sure that they're trying to ensure that children who are avid readers won't encounter anything that will contradict the messages that they're trying to infuse in their young minds.
It's so right. When you're looking for a book, try to find copyright like 1987, if you can, and you'll probably have much more of a chance of getting an original source. And then, Sean, when you add social media on top of it, you're right. If kids never encounter wisdom, how can we expect it of them?
Right. Well, by the way, parents have to give it to them, but the left wants to control what they watch, what they read, what they hear, so they can control what they think. And so, again, this comes down to the parents. Us parents have to educate our kids. You can't turn it over to the school systems. And to Carol's point, go back, and your point, get the 1987 version or the 1969 version and preserve it so your kids can have access to it. But don't count on them. And by the way, as you say, get out of the schools, Pete. Go to a charter school. Go to a Christian school. That's where your kids will get a great education.
take control of the lives of your kids, no doubt. Dr. Carol Swain, Sean Duffy, congrats on the great new show on Fox Business. Great to see you both. All right, thank you. More of this special edition of Hannity when we come back in just moments. Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Happy President's Day. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have left for this evening. Before we go, I want to remind you to check out The Miseducation of America, which is available streaming on Fox Nation. It's about the education our founders received and your kids deserve to receive as well. Don't forget to catch Rachel, Will, and I every Saturday and Sunday morning on Fox and Friends Weekend. That's all the time we have. Sean will be back tomorrow. Have a great night. The Ingram Angle is up next.